Shalom, shalom, and welcome. This is Man's Final Steps, a message, a continuing series, a message to the 144,000, 12,000 of each tribe from the nation of Yasharal, commonly known as Israel, true Israel, and the multitude, both that will come out of the great tribulation, mentioned in Revelation 7th and 14th chapter. Today is December 15th, 2013. My name is Symmanayah, and in this segment, it is entitled, What's on the Menu? What's on the menu? Let me begin with this. Deuteronomy 8:3 says, And he humbled you and let you suffer hunger, and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, to make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahuwah. That was Deuteronomy 8:3. Matthew 8:4 echoes the same sentiments. But he answered, said, It has been written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahuwah. Exodus 16th chapter verses 12 through 15 reads, I have heard the grumblings of the children of Yasharal. Speak to them, saying, Between the evenings you are to eat meat, and in the morning you are to be satisfied with bread, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim. It came to be that quails came up at evening and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew laid all around the camp. And the layer of dew went up, and see, on the surface of the wilderness was a small round substance as fine as frost on the ground. And the children of Yasharal saw, and they said to each other, What is this? For they did not know what it was. And Moshe said to them, It is the bread from which Yahuwah has given you to eat. My brothers and sisters, this whole series has been directed and is directed to the encouraging of the 144,000 and multitude who will come out of the great tribulation. It has been filled with words echoing movement, transition, gathering, and preparedness. I have mentioned in times past about possible food conditions. Since food would be a critical component of this journey, and in my prayers I was compelled to bring it up again. Allow me also to add John 6:35, which reads, And Yahushua said to them, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall not get hungry at all, and he who believes in me shall not get thirsty at all. That was John 6:35. John 6:48 reads, I am the bread of life. Again, this is Yahushua speaking. 1 Corinthians 11th chapter, verse 24 and 25, and they read as follows. And having given thanks, he broke it and said, Take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me. In the same way also the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the renewed covenant in my blood. As often as you drink it, do this in remembrance of me. These two verses are only a portion of what marks a time of remembrance, a time which many has called the Last Supper. Though I may not say that that's the Last Supper, I will indeed say by the breaking of bread and the drinking of wine, doing this is an action which one will take a moment to reflect that Yahushua is the bread of life, and through his shed blood we receive atonement and are regenerated in him. My brothers and sisters, these things are important and will prove to be top of mind in the foreseeable future as we travel from one point to the next. It is said that old habits die hard. With this in mind, brace for it, for out of the demand, changes will come in our eating habits. Yes, tempers will flare because of food. Our emotions will represent our flesh in a battle for our minds and bodies. Cravings will come in the words, I got a taste for, followed by some food item, will be echoed among the ranks all too often, in spite of what we will be experiencing. Believe me, my brothers and sisters, we will not be carrying menus. The question, what's on the menu, will evolve and no longer be looked at as a question. The same words will exist, but our perceptions will be managed and we will come to receive the words, what's on the menu, as a statement, not a question in the foreseeable future. Influence have affected us on how we act. Our behaviors can sometimes be distracted when we are hungry. Yes, especially if we are craving something specific. It can affect how we act. Attitudes could flare, and they will, in some instances, flare up in such a way it will create much friction, but we will be perfected and refined. There is no doubt in my mind we will witness these behaviors as we are refined and perfected. The sooner we begin to prepare our minds and bodies to adapt and adjust to what's on the menu as a statement versus a question, the better off we will be in accepting these words, what's on the menu, as a statement versus a question. In other words, what's on the menu will be a direct message one will give, telling us, this is it. This is all we have and have been given. Pray and watch, for in our refining process we will come to embrace priorities and discipline. We will learn to press forward in the midst of extreme changes and as well as adjustments to what we will have to eat in or drink. Believe it or not, my brothers and sisters, in the midst of all this, what's on the menu regarding the matters of teaching and instructions will also prove to be different than what we've expected. In other words, regarding the bread of life and his blood, as mentioned in 1 Corinthians 11, 24 and 25, will prove to present details, meaning and much understanding in the coming days. So what's on the menu will not only be about physical food, but our spiritual food. My brothers and sisters, there are many details and functions our body go through to process food and or drink. So it is, and we will witness these same things occurring similar as our body go through the function of processing spiritual food and spiritual drink. We will come to discern and understand what must be done. The bread of life and the blood of the Lamb will have new meaning or more meaning to us. Pray and watch, my brothers. These things cannot be avoided. I strongly suggest every listener of these words to begin discussing these realities among loved ones, fellowships, camps, groups, etc. For the time will come when we will witness a refining process like never before. In previous recordings, the need to adapt and adjust have been addressed as often as I was compelled. All too often we fail to realize the importance of preparing for such. Let me suggest an exercise among loved ones, fellowship, camps, and groups. Mention the words, what's on the menu. This is an exercise I'm suggesting that you mention to people that you consider a loved one or that you cared about. Ask them, what do these words mean? The words, what's on the menu. Ask them how they process these words. Take the time and be patient. Challenge participants to go into much detail regarding what they perceive the words what's on the menu mean to them. Observe all responses. Take under consideration all remarks. Make note if it sparks side conversations about food and or possible cravings. If you decided to attempt this exercise, what you will witness is a foreshadow of what's to come during these end times as our stomach and spirits become hungry for food and or drink. Pray and watch. I pray each of us, my brothers and sisters, each of us establish a ready mind and be able to discern as well as understand what must be and will be done regarding what's on the menu. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, prepare. Man's final steps will continue, and our eating habits will change. Our drinking habits will be altered. Stay tuned as the series continues. Man's final steps. It is indeed the end times, the last hours before our Messiah return, our Messiah Yahushua. Be encouraged, my brothers and sisters, and stay tuned as the series continues. Until next time, shalom, shalom, shalom.